Hello, good morning. Thank you for joining us. Sorry, we're a couple of minutes late, but let's wait for another 30 seconds to 40 seconds for everybody to join in, and then we will get started with this webinar. Basically, this is going to be a refresher. TCS and TCC is a new thing which has come in. Nothing to worry about. Hopefully, we should be able to give you a very easy, simple outlook to what TCS is and what TCC also is. All right, I've been joined with my colleague Shahrukh. Most people know Shahrukh more than me. Shahrukh is Vice President Sales and Operations. Anything which gets stuck at your end, Shahrukh is the guy who takes care of all of those things. So nonetheless, let me start sharing my screen. All right, let's get started. We've got a very, very nice, encouraging audience, and it's a very good morning. This is the end of or beginning of the last quarter of the year. Thank you very much for taking your time out. We will make it quick so that we wrap it up in probably an hour's time. I will take about 20 minutes to go through this. If you have any questions, please put up your questions in the chat function, which is there on the right-hand side of your screen. Either you can use the chat function or the Q&A section. We will ensure that we take all the questions and then we end this webinar. So just relax. Anything you do not understand, please text us on the chat function and I will take up the questions after this session gets over. It is a very exciting quarter and I believe we should all be very, very cognizant of this TCS and TCC rules again. So let's get started. What is TCS? The full form of TCS, everybody knows by now. It is tax collected at source. So TCS is a provision under the Income Tax Act, not the Reserve Bank of India guideline, not the FEMA guideline. It is a provision under the Income Tax Act where the seller, so who is the seller? Seller is you guys, the travel agent. So TCS is a provision under the Income Tax Act where the seller collects tax from the buyer and deposits it to the government. So very simple to understand this. TCS is something which the travel agent will collect from the traveler. Once you once you collect that money, you will have to deposit it to the treasury of the government of India. How do you deposit it? The same way as you deposit TDS that you deduct, TDS on your salaries of your employees, TDS on any professional payments that you deposit, the same way you will deposit the TCS to the government. The applicable dates are also the same. The return filing dates are also the same. So essentially, if you have outsourced this entire function to your chartered accountant or to your tax professional or to your accounting firm, they will be able to handle all of this. So TCS is a provision under the Income Tax Act. That's point number one. Two, it has to be collected by the seller. The seller over here is a travel agent, and who has this? The traveler has to pay this. In a very, very simple example, if your overseas tour program package is costing, let's say 100 Indian rupees, you will now have to collect 105. That is 5% is the TCS, which has to be collected. You will collect the 105. 5 rupees that you've collected as TCS, you will have to deposit it to the government of India in the same manner as TDS is of TCS and TDS. Very, very simple. Second thing is TCS on overseas tour program package was introduced in the year 2020. So it has already been about 4 years that this has been in force. It did get postponed by a couple of months, but now it is fully active. So the tax collected is available as credit, which is in other words, advance tax to the buyer and can be claimed at the time of filing income tax returns. So very, very simple. Once your traveler pays you the extra 5% as TCS, this TCS is not an additional tax. It is simply an advance tax. So let's say the total liability of your traveler to pay income tax is, let's say 40 rupees. He has already paid 5 rupees as TCS. So his net tax liability will become 35 only. That is, his 5 rupees advance tax or TCS that he has paid will also be taken into account in terms of discharging his overall liability. So there are various methods through which you can encourage your travelers to pay TCS and be tax compliant. Very simple example. Let me take you through that. If a salaried employee comes to you to buy an overseas tour program package and you collect TCS, that TCS certificate can also be given to the employer of the traveler so that he can adjust his TDS accordingly. Let's say the employee's TDS for the full year is 40 rupees. He has already paid 5 rupees as TCS. And once he takes his certificate from you, gives it to his employer should start deducting only 35 from now onwards. So TCS is not a burden on the traveler. Please make it absolutely clear to the traveler that this is not a burden. It is just an advance income tax that they are paying to the government at the time of travel. The other example also could be, let's say the income tax liability of your traveler is 1 rupee, but he has paid TCS of 5 rupees. In this scenario, at the time of filing the income tax return, he will have to say that he has to get a refund of 4 rupees. So 5 rupees has already paid his tax. His actual liability is 1 rupee. 5 minus 1 is 4. 4 will be a refund which the traveler should be able to get back in his own bank account. Nowadays, refunds are very quick, very fast. Probably if 31st of July is the last date for filing the income tax return, somewhere by August and September itself, you are being issued the refund. Gone are those days when it used to take 8 to 9 months, or probably in some cases, years together to get a refund. But now it is absolutely fast. Within 45 days to 90 days max, they are giving away the refunds as well. So just to recap, TCS is a provision under the Income Tax Act, not the Reserve Bank of India or the FEMA Act. It is to be collected by the seller. The seller is a travel agent. So the travel agent responsibility to collect this 5% TCS. Who has to pay this? The buyer has to pay this. The person who is traveling overseas, he has to pay this. TCS is applicable on only overseas tour program package, and this was introduced in the year 2020. The tax collected is not an advance tax. It is an advance tax. It is not an additional tax. I repeat, TCS is an advance tax. It is not a additional burden on the traveler. Let's move on. Now, there is a question. I'm going to only touch upon the controversial issues around TCS, because everybody mostly knows what TCS is all about. Where it is applicable and when it is applicable is what you need to understand. Once you understand this, everything else becomes very easy. So understanding overseas travel packages. A key question is whether standalone purchases of just air tickets or hotel bookings qualify as overseas tour packages and face either the 5% or the 20% TCS. The answer is the CBDT circular. CBDT is the central authority which decides on the rules of taxation. It is the full form is Central Board of Direct Taxes. So the CBDT circular, which is the apex body in terms of giving out directions for income tax related information, which says, so CBDT circular 10 dated 30th June 2023, the term overseas tour program package has been clearly defined. So the first time that overseas tour program package has been clearly defined as to what is an overseas tour program, so that it attracts the TCS provisions. The definition specifies that to qualify as an overseas tour program, it should compulsorily include at least 2 services. At least 2 services. So it could either be an international air ticket plus hotel accommodation plus any other expenses like sightseeing or something, or it could attract a hotel package plus sightseeing, a hotel package plus guide services. Any 2 services combined together and sold by the travel agent will qualify as an overseas tour program package. If it is sold on a standalone basis, it will not be considered as an overseas tour program package. I'll explain that in further. So TCS is applicable only on overseas travel packages. Travel packages are defined very clearly now. It should include at least 2 services. So it could be either air travel plus accommodation, or air travel plus sightseeing, or hotel accommodation plus sightseeing. Any 2 services combined together will qualify as an overseas tour program package. So the text of the CBDT circular says any tour package which offers a visit to a country or countries or territory or territories outside India. That means TCS is not applicable for domestic travel. It is only applicable for international travel and includes expenses for travel or hotel stay or boarding or lodging or any other expenditure of similar nature or about it. Therefore, a standalone purchase of only air tickets or hotel bookings is not classified as an overseas tour program package based on the above definition. Consequently, such standalone transactions shall be taxed at 20%, not 5%, at 20% only if they exceed 7 lakh rupees per passenger per PAN in per financial year. So very simple. If it is a tour program package, there's a different rate of TCS. If it is not a tour program package, that means a standalone service has been sold, which is just the air ticket or just the hotel stay or just the visa services or just sightseeing or just an attraction ticket. If standalone services are sold to a PAN holder, it will not attract TCS from the amount of 1 rupee. It will attract TCS only if such standalone overseas travel service exceeds the threshold, which is 7 lakh rupees in a year, in one financial year. And if it exceeds 7 lakh rupees in one financial year, it will be straight away taxed at 20%. So let's say you sell a hotel, only a hotel. Let's say you sell a hotel called Hilton Dubai, for example, and you sell it for 5 lakh Indian rupees, only the hotel services. 5 lakh rupees is less than 7 lakhs, correct? Is only the hotel being sold? Yes, correct. That means there will be zero TCS on this transaction. Another example, if Hilton Dubai is being sold for 10 lakh rupees, now 10 lakh rupees exceeds the 7 lakh rupees threshold. On the 3 lakh rupees additional, you will be charged, you have to collect TCS at the rate of 20% and deposit it to the government. I hope with this example, it is very clear. So there are further examples as well. So Kumar books a London air ticket worth 1.5 lakhs and stays with relatives. Okay, he's got very good relatives in London. So accommodation is not charged. This standalone air ticket purchase does not attract TCS since it is less than 7 lakh rupees in that financial year. Straight and simple, straightforward. Rajni incurs 3 lakh rupees for a 5-night stay in Singapore, plus 50,000 for sightseeing paid to Changi Tours. Since two overseas program packages are combined, this is a transaction which is chargeable under TCS. Now, at what rate? 5% or 20%? This will be charged at 5%. Again, I put it in the round thing. It's 5%. It's 5%. Oops. It's 5%. Because the total value is less than 7 lakhs. If this 3.5 would have been 10.5, then 20% would have been applicable above the 7 lakh threshold. So let's move to this slide. This is much better. So there is no threshold exemption available. So the 7 lakh limit is not available. I hope I've made it very clear on the first slide itself that the 7 lakh exemption threshold is not available for tour packages. That means if you combine two services, the 7 lakh rupees exemption is not available. When it is not available, TCS at the rate of 5% is applicable up to 7 lakhs and above 7 lakhs is applicable at 20%. Clear? So the first thing that you should do is understand whether this attracts TCS at the rate of 5% or attracts at the rate of 20%. The other thing that you have to do is analyze whether transaction is a standalone single service or a combined service. If it is a single service, then up to 7 lakhs, there is no TCS. Above 7 lakhs, TCS at 20% applies. If it is a combined service program package, then from 1 rupee till 7 lakhs, the rate is 5%. Above 7 lakh rupees, the rate is 20%. That is it. There is no other confusion available in this. It is absolutely clear with the CBDT guideline, which has come in recently, about 6 months back, about a year back now. So what modes, another question comes in about regarding credit cards. all modes of payments are covered. So just to make you further understand, the expanded TCS applies irrespective of payment method. So whether you pay by a credit card or a forex card or a cash, check, bank transfer, etc., on all kinds of transactions, TCS is applicable. Now, there is an exemption to credit cards, but understand what this exemption is. If a traveler pays to the overseas party by credit card, TCS will not be applied. That means if your overseas supplier sends you a payment link and you make a payment from India using your Indian credit card, TCS will not apply on any amount. This is a special exemption given to credit card users. But remember, when you use your Indian credit card for paying an overseas travel schedule on a link which is given by the overseas party, so it's an overseas payment gateway, let's say it's an overseas bank's payment gateway or an overseas payment aggregator's payment link, if you use your credit card to make a payment on that, which is your Indian credit card, no TCS will apply. But your credit card company is going to take an exchange rate which is very, very, very bad. Let's say the exchange rate today is like 83.93 or something, or let's say 84 it is. They will charge you at 85. Plus, they'll charge you probably 200 rupees as foreign currency conversion charge. Plus, they will charge you about 2% on the entire value as forex handling fee. So all in all, about 2 to 3% of your transaction value gets eroded and you're not going to get it back. Best is to pay TCS. It is an advanced tax. You can get a credit of it against your income tax liability as well. There is no financial loss. There is no financial burden on you. If you use a credit card, first of all, you have to activate your credit card for international transactions. Secondly, you will be hit with an adverse exchange rate. Thirdly, the amount that you spend additionally on using a credit card, because the credit card company is charging you charges about 2 to 3%, that is an expense on you and you cannot get credit. Best is to pay 5% TCS and get done with it. Also remember, it's an aggregation of spend. That means with one travel agent, you've used let's say 3 lakh rupees. With another travel agent, you use 5 lakh rupees. 5 plus 3 is 8. 1 lakh will still come under the TCS liability if you are using a standalone service. Irrespective of on the other side as well, if you are using a tour operator service, which is a combined service, there as well, all your expenses during the year will get combined and TCS will be applied. So the 7 lakh limit applies to aggregating spends by a buyer across multiple overseas bookings in one financial year. So it has to get aggregated. If someone books packages worth 5 lakhs and 3 lakhs through 2 different agents, the second booking crosses the threshold and faces 20% TCS, because 5 plus 3 is 8. 8 is more than 7. So the 1 lakh will attract TCS at 20%. Now, there are other important modes, other important sections also which we thought that we should take care of. So LRS for education is slightly different. So LRS for education, if it is financed from a financial institution. So if you are remitting money for education purposes or collecting money for education purposes and remitting it for education purposes, which is under the code S03 303. Yeah, S0303. If you are doing a remittance under that and the source of funds of the customer is a loan that is taken from a financial institution. Now, which financial institution? The list of financial institutions is given in the circular itself. If the loan is taken from a registered financial institution within the Income Tax Act, then the TCS rate will be 0.5% above the 7 lakh limit. So if it is an education remittance, if it is financed by a listed financial institution, when I say listed financial institution, there's a list given in the Income Tax Act. If your financing institution is part of that financial institution, and your value of remittance is more than 7 lakhs, then TCS at the rate of 0.5% will be applicable. If the education loan is taken from any other institute, then the rate is straight away 5%. the 0.5% is not available. Again, it is applicable only above 7 lakh rupees. Same thing is for medical treatment. And LRS for other purposes. What is this LRS for other purposes? LRS for other purposes, for our understanding, for our use case in the travel industry scenario, it will be the standalone service. So let's say if you sell only a hotel, only sightseeing, only attraction, only car bookings, only food, only hotel, only tickets, just one service, it will come under LRS for other purposes. So the TCS rate is nil up to 7 lakhs. As I said, above 7 lakhs, it will be straight away at 20%, not at 5%, straight away at 20%. Now, if you get under the definition of overseas tour program package, which is combining two services, then from 1 rupee till 7 rupees, it will be 5%. Above 7 lakh rupees, it will be 20%. So from 1 rupee till 7 lakh rupees, the rate is 5%. Above 7 lakh rupees, the rate becomes 20%. I hope this slide gives you a complete understanding of what and how TCS has to be applied. I'll repeat myself over here. If it is an education financed by an institution which is listed under the Income Tax Act and the value is more than 7 lakh rupees in one financial year per PAN, then the rate of TCS is 0.5%. If the education is self-financed, if the education is financed by an institution which is not part of this given out by the Income Tax Act, and the education remittance is more than 7 lakh rupees, then TCS at the rate of 5% is applicable. Same is for medical remittances as well. Now comes to the third element, which is LRS for other purposes, which for our understanding comprises of standalone overseas travel services. There will be zero TCS till 7 lakh rupees, but above 7 lakh rupees, the rate is 20%. If you are doing a combined service, that is a complete tour program package, which is airline, hotel, sightseeing, visas, everything combined per PAN, this will attract TCS from 1 rupee itself till 7 lakh rupees, the rate is 5%. Above 7 lakh rupees for a combined service is 20%. I hope it becomes very clear to everybody what the applicable rates are. What is the compliance and implementation? The tour companies, the travel agents must capture PAN details in all of their invoices or collect the PAN details of the travelers when you take a payment for overseas travel package. This enables linking overseas package expenses to the buyer's income tax return. So once you take the PAN number from the customer and give it to a remittance agency like ourselves or the bank will punch in this PAN number in the feeders system that the RBI has given to the banks. It eventually then reflects in the 26 AS of the passenger so that he can also see that his TCS has adequately been reported, who has deducted it and what rate has been deducted it. There is full transparency over here that the Income Tax Department is now giving, especially for the past 3 to 4 years. The companies need to upgrade their accounting and billing software to incorporate this differential TCS as well. So you have to keep a track whether he is within the 7 lakhs or above 7 lakhs, standalone service or a combined service. So your systems should be incorporated, should have incorporated all of these things so that adequate TCS liabilities are captured and discharged. Customer-facing staff and travel agents need appropriate training to explain TCS correctly to potential buyers of foreign tour packages. A lot of travelers shy away from booking packages with travel agents because travel agents may not be able to communicate adequately what the TCS is. Customers believe buying using a credit card or overseas OTAs is better for them, but it is not. As I have explained, it will cost them 2 to 3% more, and it's an expense. The money is spent, you can't get it back. Better to explain to them that please pay TCS and claim it in your income tax return. It is not an expense, it is just an advance tax. So if a buyer purchases overseas packages through different sellers, each may need more visibility. So if you have taken a travel overseas tour program package, take a declaration from your customer that he has either not spent anything on overseas travel, or if he has, what is the value that he has already used, so that you can then account for the 7 lakh threshold and ensure whether it's a standalone service, so 0 till 7, above 7, 20%. If it is a tour program package, then you'll have to start charging him 20% straight away if he exceeds the 7 lakh limit. If it is below the 7 lakh limit and it is a tour program package, he will be charged at 5%. But ensure that he gives you a declaration that either he has not spent anything before, or if he has spent, you need to take that amount from the traveler so that you compute the correct TCS. Lastly, the seller, the travel agent, has to issue the TCS certificates against the tax collected. Using that certificate, buyers can adjust this TCS while filing the returns or claims of refunds in the income tax returns that they have. Remember, this TCS certificate passing back to the traveler is a very important process, which gives him assurance that the additional money that he has given you has adequately been remitted to the government of India, and you got the challan. That challan has to be passed back to the traveler, so that while he is filing his income tax return, he should be able to get the benefit of this advance tax that he has paid. The steps: collect the TCS certificate from the tour operator. This is for the customer. So the assisting tour operator, which is the travel agent, provides a certificate in Form 27D. Your chartered accountant, the person who's filing the returns, will be able to give you this 27D at the end of the financial year. Verify the amount collected as TCS during the year. So ensure the money you have paid and the amount of certificate is exactly the same. Cross-check Form 27D for details with TCS credits reflected in your Form 26AS. Match. It has to match. It is coming from the same database. If at all there is any discrepancy, please report it to your travel agent. Your travel agent will get back to the remittance company. The remittance company will get back to the bank, and the bank will make the required corrections. It's a very rare scenario, but a correction mechanism is available. When filing the income tax return, which is also called the ITR, provide details of the total TCS collection during the year. So when you're filing your income tax return, it also asks you for any taxes that you've already paid. In that, you have to put the challan number of the TCS certificate, the Form 27D that your travel agent will give you. Put that so that your tax liability reduces automatically on the income tax portal. So people who are salaried, Form 16 is what is being given to them by their employers. You can submit your TCS certificate to your employer within the financial year itself, so that your net tax liability also reduces per month. A lot of employers have started accepting these TCS certificates. Some employers have still not calibrated the systems to account for TCS. They will still keep on deducting TDS at the normal rates. So you will have an excess TDS deducted, include your TCS, file your income tax return, and get back that money within a month or two from the income tax department. Admin part, retain acknowledgements and certificates of TCS paid as supporting evidence, because in future, if somebody asks you a question whether you have paid TCS or not, you will have the challan as a proof that you have definitely paid it. How long do you have to maintain it? Income tax department says any record which is generated for statutory purposes has to be maintained for 7 financial years. So for 7 financial years, you'll have to keep those things in record. So keep a digital record, keep a physical record, it's up to you. But you need to retain this record for 7 years. That is what the income tax department says, and that's what the standard is all across. Now, the last part, I hope I've completed TCS. I will go on to TCC, which is a new thing, and a lot of people are asking us, what is TCC? 99.99% travel agents will not have to bother about TCC. 99.9% travel agents should not bother about TCC, but with every booking, take a declaration from your traveler that he is not liable for a TCC. What is TCC? TCC is a tax clearance certificate. A tax clearance certificate is a statement made by tax authorities, which is Income Tax Authority of India, confirming that the taxpayer has paid all outstanding tax debts or is not liable to pay any taxes. This is typically issued by the Income Tax Department, and in some other cases also issued by the state revenue departments, which attests that there is no tax liability on the traveler. If the income tax officer is satisfied with the information provided, they will issue the ITCC, which is Income Tax Clearance Certificate, in Form 30B upon receiving such an undertaking and the pertinent documents. The document will include information about the ITCC's validity as well. Now, does everyone required to take TCC? As I said, no, it is not required for everyone. Only specific individuals who meet certain criteria, such as involvement in financial irregularities or having substantial tax errors, are required to secure the certificate. The proposed amendment ensures a focused and justified application of this requirement, affecting only those who fall within these categories. Now, there's a limit also involved in this. Outstanding direct tax arrears. If a person has direct tax arrears exceeding 10 lakhs, that have not been stayed by any authority. So in simple words, if a traveler comes to you, you need to ask him, sir, is there any income tax? Not GST, not sales tax, not customs, not octroi, no. Income tax, which is a central tax, okay, which is called direct taxes. You need to ask your traveler, sir or ma'am, do you have any notice for payment of income tax on you? If they say no, they need to give it in writing that no, I do not have any demand from the Income Tax Department for any outstanding tax. Take that declaration and keep it in your record. The other scenario is your customer will say, yes, I have an investigation or I have an inquiry or I have a notice from the Income Tax Department for my income taxes. The next question you should ask is that demand for tax exceeds 10 lakh rupees or no? If the demand for income tax according to that notice on your traveler is less than 10 lakh rupees, take that declaration and keep it at your end. If the demand for income tax from the income tax authorities on your traveler is more than 10 lakhs, then he needs to give you this TCC certificate in Form 30B. If he's not giving you the certificate in Form 30B, you still go ahead and make a travel booking for himself, he will be stopped at the immigration counter. This income tax data sharing with the immigration counter has also been notified by the Government of India. So please be careful. If any of your travelers have an income tax demand which exceeds 10 lakh rupees, he should also give you a TCC. If he does not have the TCC and you still go ahead and issue the travel bookings, your traveler will not be allowed to leave India at the immigration counters, which will create lots of problems for everybody. So TCC is applicable only for those people who have an income tax demand on themselves exceeding 10 lakh rupees. And if that is still outstanding, he cannot travel abroad. To travel abroad, he needs to clear out his income tax liability, obtain the TCC from the Income Tax Department, which comes to him via an email itself in a form called Form 30B. That Form 30B should be taken by the travel agent so that your traveler has a smooth experience of exiting the country and re-entering the country. So TCC will not be applicable in 99.99% cases. Only in high-profile customers, only in customers who have a higher income and may have a tax dispute with the Income Tax Authority, ensure that they are TCC compliant. It is as simple as that. So it is best to take a declaration for TCS and discharge the TCS. It is also best to take a declaration that your customer is not liable for TCC. Take these two things and keep it safe in your files. The record has to be maintained for 7 financial years. Keep it with you, and that is a simple, quick recap of what is TCS and what is TCC. So in conclusion, a tax clearance certificate is a document that the tax authorities issue certifying that the taxpayer has paid all his tax debts or is not responsible for paying taxes. With that, I will let the Q&A session begin. We do not want to take a lot of your time on this Monday, but we felt that it is mandatory that travel agents understand TCS, understand TCC, and make their transactions in a compliant manner. TCS has been quite simplified. TCC is already a simplified thing. If you have any questions, please do get in touch with your account manager. Where do you find your account manager's number? Log into your FlyRemit portal, which is agent.flyremit.com. On the top right side, you will get the direct mobile number of your account manager. If your account manager is busy handling some other customer, you can send him a WhatsApp and he will shortly call you back. And I hope all of you have the escalation matrix as well. If your account manager is not responsive for quite some time, there is a supervisor, and then above that, you always have Mr. Shahrukh, who is available to service you at any given point in time. Let me stop my slide share, and I'm happy to answer your questions. All right, we have a massive audience exceeding 250 people who have joined in today. Thank you for your trust in looking at us and looking at us as a knowledge leader. I will go through the questions from top to bottom first. All right. All right, lots and lots of people. Okay, there's a question which says outward remittance to vendors for operating a tour for foreign nationals. I believe the question is that if a foreign national tour has been booked by an Indian travel agent, is there TCS applicable on it? The CBDT has also clarified that if the tax residency of a passenger is not within India, then TCS is not applicable. So clearly, if a customer has a foreign passport and you're remitting on his behalf, TCS is not applicable. If you are booking a overseas tour program package for a non-resident Indian having an Indian passport, technically TCS is not applicable. Practically, banks do not want to get into the hassle of proving that this Indian passport holder is non-resident. So in practice, the bank will definitely ask you for a TCS certification, even if the passenger is non-resident in India but has an Indian passport. That is the practice. The theory is that even if he is non-resident in India, has an Indian passport, he should not be liable to pay TCS. But in practice, the banks do levy TCS on Indian passport holders, and they do not give exemption to Indian passport holders. But if you have a foreign passport holder, TCS is not applicable. The guidelines are absolutely clear on that. Okay, someone wants a demo of the portal. We will definitely organize that. Somebody from my team will get in touch with you and take you through the entire process. Holiday Adda is saying, what if we do only sightseeing booking? Again, if you're doing only sightseeing booking, it comes under a standalone service. Since it is a standalone service, and if this standalone service is less than 7 lakh rupees, there is no TCS applicable. If the standalone service like sightseeing exceeds 7 lakh rupees, then TCS for the excess amount from 7 lakhs onwards have to be collected at the rate of 20%, paid to the government of India, obtain the challan, pass the challan back to the customer. That is the process. Lalit is asking a question. Customer books only hotel at 2 different destinations. Example, 2 nights in Bangkok, 2 nights in Pattaya. Will this attract TCS or not? This is a standalone service again. At the end of the day, you are booking what service? You're booking only a hotel service, nothing else. This is again a standalone service. Up to 7 lakh rupees, no TCS. Above 7 lakh rupees, 20% TCS. Naveen Kumar is asking the thresholds limits for TCS. I have explained that. This slides will also be available on our YouTube channel, so you can refer to those slides again. Tejas says no 5% TCS on standalone services. No, there is no TCS on standalone services up to 5%. Straight away 20% if it exceeds 7 lakh rupees. Because this standalone services will come under LRS for other purposes. LRS for other purposes states very clearly nil up to 7 lakhs, 20% above 7 lakhs. Ashish Kelkar is asking, how do we analyze if the client has spent 7 lakhs or more than 7 lakhs in a financial year? It is based on the declaration of the traveler. If the traveler gives you a false or a misleading declaration, it is his liability, because you have proof that you asked and he gave a written confirmation that no, I have not spent more than 7 lakh rupees in this financial year on overseas tour program package. Jose is asking a long question. Two people, maybe husband and wife, going to Singapore. Can we raise two invoices? One bill for hotel in the name of husband and transport in the name of wife. In such cases, does TCS be applicable? It's a very smart way of doing it. This is called tax planning. This is not called tax evasion. This is tax planning. Tax planning is legal. Tax evasion is illegal. So if you book the hotel in the name of the husband and use the PAN of the husband, it is a standalone service for him. No TCS till 7 lakhs. Above 7 lakhs, 20%. If you book sightseeing in the name of the wife, issue a separate invoice and punch only the wife's PAN over there, it is again a standalone service. No TCS applicable till 7 lakhs. Above 7 lakhs, 20%. Naveen says, in that case, client will prefer to pay online, hotels, in hotel portal, booking.com to avoid TCS. As I said, you will be charged additional exchange rates, and those exchange rates are not perfect exchange rates. Remittance companies, especially like FlyRemit, gives you exchange rates and give you a transparent markup on on the prevailing IBR, and you get the opportunity of blocking the rates as the market moves up or market moves down. But if you use a credit card, advantage is you will be charged 2 to 3% on these OTAs. Currency management fee as well. All of this comes up to about 2 to 3%, and that 2 to 3% is completely gone. You can't claim it back. Better to pay the 5% or the 20% TCS, and you can get it back. Kalpak Kothari says only hotels booked at 2 to 3 different destinations. No other services provided. Total value is less than 7 lakh rupees. Will these be considered as package and attract TCS or not? No, this will not be considered as overseas tour program package. This is standalone service. It will not attract TCS if it is less than 7 lakh rupees. Rajat Gupta says if ticket booked 4 lakhs, hotel booked 4 lakhs, if we build together, if we build different for both, no TCS is applicable. Yeah, that's true. Lots of internal conversations happening on the chat, and I'm very happy that travel agents are actually helping each other out. That means there is a good awareness of TCS in the market. That's a very good thing. Nagaraja says, please send me your email ID, and we have a question. We will need your opinion. If you can put your question here itself, I will be able to answer it quickly. Otherwise, send an email to sales@flyremit.com and it will come to me, or it will come to one of our experts, and we will be able to answer that. PTS has a very nice question. What about if someone booked hotel with us in month of August and hotel booked in September to travel in October? So in that case, also liable to pay TCS by client. It is getting combined basis the invoicing or the remittance. So if you took the money for hotel in, let's say, September, and it took the money for flights in October, or whichever way around, but you're billed in a single invoice, okay, TCS is applicable from 1 rupee itself. If you make 2 separate invoices, TCS is not applicable. Holiday Adda says, what if we do only sightseeing booking? Will this come under TCS? No, it will not come under TCS if it is less than 7 lakh rupees. Can we get declaration format that we can take from the guest? Sure. Just ask your account manager on FlyRemit. He should be able to give you a Word document or send you an email with the format. It's a very simple format that this is my name, this is my PAN number. In this financial year, I have not utilized more than 7 lakh rupees for overseas tour program package. The definition of overseas tour program package is also given in that declaration so that the client understands okay, overseas tour program package kya hai. Uske niche then he signs off. It's better to put the PAN card copy on the same declaration so that the client cannot dispute कि मैंने तो ये आपको approval नहीं दिया था बाद में. I'm just going through the question. Okay, Nagaraj says, who is seller in case of overseas tour program package? I am a tour operator who gets booking from travel agent on behalf of travelers and I book with next vendors. Do I need to collect TCS or only first point connection, that is travel agent only is liable to collect TCS? It is a practice that has, I'm not sure whether it has got accepted or not, but as a practice in the market, the first point where the TCS between the traveler and the tour operator, TCS is liable on this part. So traveler, first travel agent, make a transaction, TCS is applicable on this transaction. This travel agent again goes ahead and books with a consolidator. This consolidator again books with a master consolidator. This master consolidator remits the money abroad. In all of these legs, TCS is not applicable because it will be multiple taxation again. Nagaraj has a very important question. He says, I didn't get any clarification in the IT Act regarding who is seller. Can you please share if you have any document which supports that? Only the first point connector, that is travel agent, needs to collect TCS from traveler and tour operator, second point vendor, need not collect it. It is simple and straightforward. Income tax department doesn't give exact answers to all of these questions. Thank God that they at least came up with this CBDT circular on the 10th of October 2023 with certain FAQs, which has made life easier for travel agents. Only the first point has to collect the TCS, and that has been the practice in the market. Let's stick to that. Pratik, this webinar is definitely recorded and it will be available on the FlyRemit YouTube channel. Declaration formats, you can take it from our account managers. They will be happy to give you the declaration format. What if a pack books a ticket first and then books a package? Pack has already been invoiced for the ticket. Now here, if you have issued invoice number 1 for tickets, then invoice number 2 you are issuing for more than 2 services. This invoice number 2 will attract TCS. Invoice number 2 is again for standalone services, no TCS till 7 lakhs. Okay, in terms of corporate travel, corporates will pay the travel agent after deducting TDS. TDS, not TCS, TDS. If a corporate pays a travel agent 1 lakh rupees, the corporate will not pay you 1 lakh rupees. The corporate will deduct 10% TCS, but TDS or 5% TDS, whatever is the rate applicable on that service. Once TDS has been deducted on a payment, TCS need not be collected. That is another regulation. So if a corporate pays you or your customer pays you less of TDS, okay, this TDS certificate he will give you. Now the travel agent has to collect the TDS certificate because he has to collect that money. Either collect the money or collect the TDS certificate. If a TDS has been deducted by your customer, that is the travel agent's customer, then the TCS is not applicable and need not be collected at all, irrespective of value, irrespective of how it is defined, whether it is standalone service or it is an overseas tour program package. Sanjay Kumar says, thanks for the session and making us understanding the things correctly. Absolutely a pleasure. FlyRemit is here to help travel agents digitize their remittances, to make their lives easier, to give them transparency, and to give them service which is above and beyond what probably the AD1s are giving. And you get all of these knowledge sessions as well. So that is the USP of FlyRemit. I hope you are happy with FlyRemit and continue to be a customer of FlyRemit. We are privileged. People need demos of the portal. Our account managers will note down your number and they will get back to you for sure. Video will definitely be available, and we will send the recording, we'll edit the recording, and we will send it by email as well to all of you. Sushil, I think I've answered the question, but I'll take it again. My client is a company and his staff travels overseas. He deducts TDS on the payments. Still, we have to charge TCS. If we charge TCS, can he deduct TDS? No, this practice is wrong. If your customer pays you a value for your travel services and deducts TDS, no TCS applies on that transaction. Full stop. How is TCS calculated? Only on Forex component? TCS is calculated on the entire value. Let's say, for example, you are collecting 100 rupees for a combined package, which is sightseeing, hotels, air ticket, or whatever. You issue one invoice. That invoice is, let's say, 3 lakh rupees. 3 lakh rupees TCS at 5% will have to be collected from the customer. TCS at 20% will have to be collected from the customer because it's a combined tour package. Now, with this 1 lakh rupees that you have collected from the customer, if you are remitting only 40,000 rupees, 60,000 rupees you're paying to Indian domestic suppliers for that. Doesn't matter. It does not link it to the remittance value. So if you're collecting overseas tour program package from your customer, you will have to collect TCS at 20% because it's a combined package. Or if you're doing a standalone booking, if it is less than 7 lakhs, no TCS applicable. If it is more than 7 lakhs, TCS is applicable at 20%. Irrespective of how you are discharging the payments, whether you're remitting the entire value, part value, you're paying some parts to an Indian consolidator, you're paying some parts to the overseas DMC, doesn't matter. The transaction is when you collect from the customer, it's at that point that the TCS is applicable. Somebody is a green card holder. What should be the tax for them? A green card holder is not a resident in India. He is resident in the US. Since he is resident in the US, TCS is not applicable. But it is a hard time explaining to the bank that this person is not resident in India. So the best thing is that you do not disclose your Indian passport. You just give the Indian passport, and you also give your green card copy to your remitting company, so that they can present the case to the bank saying that this person is not resident in India. The proof of that is the tax residency certificate, which is the green card, and hence he should not be taxed in India. Ashok Kumar Bajaj has a good question. I was waiting for this question. Sir, good morning. I have a slight doubt. Question whether the international ticket booked should be added with the tour cost below 7 lakhs. We need to charge 5%. So whether the international ticket will also be added. It is always best to carve out the ticket, the international flight ticket, from the services that you give. So that will reduce significantly the total amount for overseas tour program package. So always take out the ticket component, bill it separately. No TCS will be applied on that. For international services like say hotel, sightseeing, if you're combining and selling it, then 5% TCS up to 7 lakhs. If you're combining and selling it, 20% TCS from day one, it will start. And if you're and sightseeing separately, then 5% up to 7 lakhs, 20% above 7 lakhs. If client wants to deduct TDS instead of paying TCS, will it work? Yes, it works. Okay, how should we connect with FlyRemit team? FlyRemit team is available on agent.flyremit.com, or you get so many flyers and emailers. You can contact us either by sending us an email at sales@flyremit.com, or we've got salespeople in Delhi, Pune, Mumbai, Bangalore, Chennai. You can get in touch with them. Okay, there are repeated questions. I will not be answering those questions because I've already considered them previously. Kiran Damle says, where can we get these guidelines for LRS mentioning the stand along with service notices up to 7 lakhs? You can get this on the internet. Just search for CBDT guidelines on TCS. You will get a document. You know that. Amit says, what if we book international ticket, do their visa, book hotel, on what component will TCS be applicable? First things, separate the international ticket out. No TCS applicable on that. Then you are booking visa and hotel. If you are billing visa and hotel together, TCS will be applicable at the rate of 20%. If you are billing visa, it will be 5%, and on hotel, there will be 5%. Sorry. If you're doing standalone services, no TCS applicable till 7 lakhs. Sri Lekha Mahadevan is asking, for foreign passport holders without PAN, we are either not able to process TT. Please come to FlyRemit. We are able to process foreign nationals remittances without the PAN. If you are able to give us the foreign national passport copy. So for foreign nationals, if you submit the passport copy to FlyRemit, FlyRemit will be able to remit it without the PAN. That is as per the law. If a client bills the package in his company name, then will TCS be applicable? If a client bills a package in the company name, the money will come from the company. The rules for payment for companies is that they need to deduct TDS. So if a TDS is deducted, TCS is not applicable. For corporates, don't bother that much. There are a couple of company questions for corporates. When a corporate pays you, we deduct TDS. Once a TDS is deducted on a payment, TCS is not applicable, irrespective of the amount. It's as simple as that. Can we collect TCS from customer 5% less than 7 lakhs combined services? If it is a combined services less than 7 lakhs, 5% TCS is applicable. Sugato says our international guest booked a ticket and then later 1 month for packages. Then will we deduct TCS from him? So he booked invoice number 1, international flight tickets, no TCS applicable, standalone service. Then he came back and booked a package. Package is a combined service. A combined service attracts TCS if it is less than 7 lakhs at 5%. The Kinjal is asking, when we charge TCS at 5%, Challan filed under 206. What's the code when we charge TCS at 20% in a standalone service? The code will remain the same. The code will not change. Whether you charge at 5% or 20%, the value will change. The code under which you have to file will not change. Mubin has an issue with FlyRemit. I think this is a short credit issue. And I will ask my colleague to get in touch with you. I hope you already have all the answers about short credit and why short credit appears in an international transaction. It is not restricted to FlyRemit. It is actually dependent on the bank and the SWIFT network that the bank uses. It is something beyond our control, and I'm sure my team has already updated you. But nonetheless, if you have any further queries, we are more than happy to get on a call with you again and explain you what, if any, understanding issue is there. I request Shahrukh, please get in touch with Mubin.
Yes, sir.
Holiday Adda says, what if I am booking rooms for corporate group more than 7 lakh value for distributors group? Will this come under TCS? If yes, who is liable to pay? Traveler or the company who gives this free tour to them? The company is sponsoring this trip. Okay, the corporate is sponsoring this trip. The corporate gives you a sponsoring letter. The corporate makes a payment to you on behalf of the travelers. When the corporate makes a payment to you on behalf of the travelers, the corporate will deduct TDS. If the corporate is not deducting TDS, enforce them that please deduct TDS, life will be easier. Okay. If they deduct TDS, no TCS is applicable, everything goes smoothly. Shruti says, I have booked a tour from a supplier out of country and the amount is less than 5 lakhs. So am I supposed to charge my client TCS of 5% since it is a tour package? If it is a combined service, as you have said, you will have to, and it is less than 7 lakh rupees, since the value is 5 lakhs, you will have to charge TCS at the rate of 5%. Naveen says a very good question. If a client has booked hotel worth 3 lakh rupees online and has been remitting money for child's education abroad, which is above 7 lakhs, online portal doesn't charge TCS, but in our case, we have to ask for TCS. This is where we lose business. Yes, unfortunately, we have to be compliant. If somebody else is not charging TCS, not our responsibility, but we need to be compliant. It is a tricky area, but what can we do? If customer doesn't pay TCS and says I will pay by my own through my CA, what should we do in such cases? Do not take the booking. Do not take the booking unless, and he cannot pay through chartered accountant. I, as an individual traveler, cannot go to the income tax portal and say that I am paying TCS. No, TCS has to be paid by a travel agent. The travel agent's PAN and TAN will be given at the time of paying the TCS. So if a customer says that you book my travel, don't bother about the TCS, I will talk to my chartered accountant and I will discharge the TCS. This is absolutely not acceptable. It will land you, the travel agent, in trouble. Tell them this is the mechanism, this is the law of the land, this is what the CBDT says, this is what the income tax says. TCS on travel packages will have to be collected by the travel agent, discharged by the travel agent, certificate given back to the traveler. That certificate the traveler can take and give it to his CA, and then he will help him file the income tax return. This is not acceptable. This is outside the law and it is not within the provision of the law. And if the customer is actually referring to his chartered accountant will also give the same opinion. How can we get TCS certificate from FlyRemit? FlyRemit does not charge TCS. FlyRemit takes a declaration from the travel agent that you have collected the TCS from your traveler and discharged the TCS. If you say that you have not collected TCS from the travel agent, from the traveler, then you can pay the TCS to FlyRemit. FlyRemit will then pay to the government and give back the challan to you. Okay, lots of questions. I'll have to go slightly faster. What if a traveler is not disclosing if he or she has already utilized the allowed limit of 7 lakhs per year and have not informed us? This time booking is package less than 5 lakhs, but in total overall package cost per year is more than 7 lakhs. That is maybe 10 or 15. Okay. To avoid all of these things, okay, just take a declaration from the traveler whether he has spent more than 7 lakh rupees in this financial year on overseas travel. Either he says yes or he says no. If he says no, then you start charging him as if he has not utilized his LRS limits at all, and accordingly charge 5% or 20%. If he refuses to give a declaration, I categorically, humbly, as a friend, telling you the travel agent, do not take his booking. You will be in massive trouble. The customer or the traveler has absolutely no liability. TCS is liable on the travel agent. That means it is his responsibility to collect and discharge. If the traveler doesn't pay, the liability of the travel agent does not get dissolved. You will be asked a question that you made a remittance on behalf of this passenger. Why did you not collect TCS? Simple as that. Straight away refuse people who do not give declaration or who do not give TCS. It is travel agent will be in the offense. The traveler will not be in offense. Is TCS applicable on foreign currency exchange in India? Yes, it is up to 7 lakh rupees because they will consider it as a standalone service. So if a money exchanger gives you 7 lakh rupees worth of foreign exchange, he will not charge you TCS if you give a declaration that you have not utilized anything in the past. Shruti, you want a demo? My team will get in touch with you for sure. Gaurav, you're right. The IT department holds the agent liable for collecting TCS. Yes, Rohan, when the corporate deducts 10% TDS and hand over the balance to you, you need to wait till the next financial year to get the refund. Yes, it is a cash flow issue. Kalpak Kothari says, if I make all services like hotel, air ticket, sightseeing in different invoices in same month, does TCS apply? No, because you booked separate services. TCS will not be applicable. If Aditya says if 100 is remittance amount and rupees 10 is travel agent profit, then TCS to be taken on rupees 100 or 110. Forget this question. It is very simple. Amount of money collected from the traveler multiplied by 5% or multiplied by 20% is the value of TCS, depending on where it sits. Amount collected from the customer, including GST. So let's say you are collecting 100 rupees from the customer, including 5% GST, for example, or 18% GST, whichever way you're doing GST. On 105 or 118, into 5% into 20% is what you have to collect. Aarti Mishra asked a question on credit card. I have explained that if a credit card is used to pay in a domestic market, okay, to a travel agent, TCS is still applicable. But if a credit card is used to pay directly overseas, that is on the OTAs or on the payment gateway, which has been given by the overseas party, TCS is not applicable. But remember, your credit card companies charge you 2 to 3%, and that is a complete loss for you. Better to pay TCS and get it back. Is TCS applicable on hotel bookings or any other service booked online through corporate credit card and of travel agent? Doesn't matter if you are making a payment domestic. Okay, TCS is applicable. If you are using a corporate credit card directly on the overseas OTA portal or on the DMC given link, TCS is not applicable. Okay. What will be the rate of TDS? It depends what kind of services they consider it. If they consider it as a professional service, it will be 10%. If they consider it any other service or provision of goods, something like that, 5%, or it will be 2.5% as well. Depends on how they are accounting for. Okay, without passport details, can remittance happen through FlyRemit? In case guest passports are of US but are Indian PAN holder, how to manage? It's up to you. If they want to disclose the PAN, then TCS, PAN will be reported and TCS will also be applicable. If they are not disclosing the PAN, they're just giving the US passports, TCS will not be applicable, and we can do the remittance as well, just basis the foreign passport. Guest is a non-resident in Dubai, books a package from India for travel to Singapore, I'm guessing no TCS. Please confirm. If the guest has an Indian passport, then TCS is applicable. Although technically it is not applicable, but the banks don't agree. They would want a tax residency certificate, which an individual traveler will have to roam around a lot to get an individual tax residency certificate, which is not a very practical thing to do. So if a customer doesn't have a foreign tax residency certificate, then TCS is applicable on it, unless he has a foreign passport. For foreign companies taking package from us, Indian companies, for their clients, they may not be able to provide foreign passports for all passengers. How do we remit? How do we remit is a big problem, because here the bank is asking, bhai, passport copies de do, either Indian or foreign. So if either you give PAN or you give passport copies. So if you don't have both, remittance won't be possible because the banks don't accept it. Mubin says this is not a solution to my problem. Mubin, there are certain things which are within the control of people like us. There are certain things which are within the control of banks. There are certain things which are in control of correspondent banks, and there are certain things which are in control of the beneficiary bank. Okay, all of these things have to fall in place for a successful remittance to happen. We can only help you from our side to push, find out what happened to it. Beyond that, it's a wait and watch game. It's unfortunate that the system is this way. International guests book 8 tickets and then later 1 month for package. Then will TCS be deducted from him? International guests, I'm assuming they have foreign passports. On foreign passports, there is no TCS. Okay, somebody has booked land arrangement and tour attractions and have already remitted the money through FlyRemit. And later on, a hotel booking through online B2B portal has to be booked. Any TCS applicable? Yes, TCS is applicable on the first thing for sure. When you've remitted money for land and tour attractions, TCS is applicable. Depends whether 5% or 20%. If you're again booking a standalone hotel, after that, which is separately booked, then it comes under other Alara services. There is no TCS on standalone services up to 7 lakh rupees. Okay, I've come to the end of the questions in the chat function. Let me go to the Q&A section. Oh my freaking God, there are so many ones over here. Question from somebody private, 10 lakhs and if only hotel, why TCS is applicable? 10 lakhs only hotel, that means it is a standalone service. It exceeds 7 lakh rupees. The threshold is 7 lakhs. So 3 lakh rupees you will have to pay TCS on. Standalone purchase of hotel is not covered for TCS till 7 lakhs. Beyond 7 lakhs, it is covered at 20%. So I repeat myself, if a standalone service is booked, there is no TCS up to 7 lakh rupees. Beyond 7 lakh rupees, on standalone services, TCS is applicable, but at the rate of 20%. Gaurav Travels says that 7 lakh threshold is only for tour package, not standalone. No, you're not right. Okay. 7 lakh threshold is available for standalone services. For standalone services, up to 7 lakh, zero TCS. Above 7 lakh rupees for standalone services, TCS at 20%. Please clarify once again, if billing amount is 10 lakhs, then 20% TCS is applicable on 3 lakhs and not on entire 10 lakhs, right? I am assuming it's a standalone service, hence it is exempt till 7 lakhs. Above 7 lakhs, the value is 3 lakhs, that is to reach 10 lakhs, it is 3 lakhs. On 3 lakhs, 20% TCS is applicable. Question from Kiran Damle. If for single service within 7 lakhs, no TCS, where is this an official documentation? Can you please share any link of this? As I was under the impression that if single service is booked on credit card only, then it is exempt. Please don't get confused. It is very clear. This is a CBDT guideline. I mean, this is the Sorry for the stamps. Okay, this is the official documentation. If you go to page number 1, 2, and 3, page number 3, clause number 3, page number 3, and clause. I don't think you can see it. The clause number 3 is here. It says LRS for other purposes. LRS for other purposes would mean some purpose which doesn't come under core package. That means it is standalone service. It says nil up to 7 lakhs, 20% above 7 lakhs. It is very clear. It is mentioned in the official guideline of the Income Tax Department. You can download it from the CBDT website, which you can easily search for it on the internet and you can get it. Who gets the TCS benefit, passenger or travel agent? The travel agent has to pay it. Then how can passenger claim it? Will the income tax team know who to give credit to? Don't worry about all of these things. There is a proper process for it. I'll explain you that in very simple terms. Your package is 100 rupees. Let's assume this is an overseas tour program package and it is less than 5 lakh rupees, 7 lakh rupees. Hence, TCS at 5% is applicable. On 100 rupees, you will collect 5 rupees from the traveler. Okay, this 5 rupees you will give it to the income tax department. How do you give it? You go to the income tax payment website, give your PAN number, give your TAN number, and pay the 5% value over there. At the end of the quarter, you have to file the TCS and TDS returns. In that, you will have to give your challan that you got from the income tax department and the PAN number of the person from whom you've collected the TCS. While filing the returns for the TCS and TDS, which happens quarterly, this challan will be mapped to the PAN of the traveler. Hence, the traveler in his 26 AS statement, which comes from the income tax department, will know that you as a travel agent collected 5%, mapped it to his PAN, and this is available for his credit. It's a simple, simplified process. There is no communication which needs to be done. If you just follow the process, you will be able to smoothly complete the entire TCS discharge issue. Okay, I'll wrap this up in another 5 minutes. It's already been an hour and a half. I don't want to take more time. It's 1 hour 20 minutes that the webinar is on. We will wrap it up exactly by in another 10 minutes. What about if someone booked ticket with us in month of August and hotel booked in September to travel in October? So it doesn't matter. It's within the one financial year. Do the math yourself. If it is standalone service within 7 lakh rupees, no TCS. Standalone service within one financial year exceeds 7 lakhs. The amount which exceeds 7 lakhs will have to be taxed at 20%. If it is a combined service within one financial year from 1 rupee till 7 lakh rupees, rate is 5%. Above 7 lakh rupees, if it is a combined service, it will be taxed at 20%. So it's one financial year, whether you do in October, November, December, January, wherever you do it. PPT will come, or this entire presentation will come to you by email. Sri Lekha Mahadevan says, foreign passport holder without PAN, we are either not able to process. 100% you can process. FlyRemit has created a process. If you have a foreign passport without PAN, you can remit the money for that foreign passport holder. FlyRemit has authority to get this done via their bank. So please contact us. We'll be happy to help you out. I'm ignoring the common questions. If TDS is deducted, TCS is not applicable. If travel agent pays by credit card to the overseas supplier, then will TCS apply? Yes, it's a very good question. Here, what is happening? Traveler pays to travel agent in India. TCS is applicable depending on the law that I have explained to you. This travel agent discharges the money to the overseas supplier using his credit card, irrespective. This piece of information is not relevant. Traveler in India, travel agent in India makes a payment. If it is an overseas tour program package, TCS at the rate of 5% is applicable if less than 7 lakhs, at 20% if more than 7 lakhs. If it is standalone service, 0 TCS till 7 lakhs. Standalone service above 7 lakhs, 20% TCS. Travel agent then pays the overseas supplier through his credit card or whatever means he wants to pay. It is irrelevant piece of information over here. TCS is still applicable. Client makes a single payment to us for two people. In this case, should we provide you two PAN cards or just the PAN of person making the payment? It depends on the traveler. If the single person is making a payment and he wants to take the entire credit of TCS in his own account, just punch his PAN. If both people want to share their credit, take both their PANs. On both the PANs, TCS will be applicable. TCS applicable for corporate on corporate PAN card for employee stay and transfer and activities given as incentive by the company. In this case, there is no TCS, there is TDS. When the corporate pays the travel agent, they will deduct TDS. Once TDS is deducted from the corporate PAN, TCS is not applicable. If more than 7 lakh transfer in online one bank, but travel is of 2%, should I collect 5% or 20%? It depends how you're billing. If you're billing separately, both the billings are less than 7 lakhs, okay? And assuming they are standalone services, no TCS. You're billing separately, both of them are more than 7 lakhs, standalone service, TCS has 20%. If you're billing separately, both the billings are for a combined package, less than 7 lakhs, 5% TCS applicable. You're billing separately, it is for a combined service, more than 7 lakhs, 20% TCS applicable. Simple. If we charge credit card for visa fees on country's immigration website in foreign currency, does this come under standalone service? And is it exempt from TCS? Yes, it is standalone service. End of story. You're just booking visa, it's a standalone service, no TCS applicable, up to lakh rupees. For corporate booking, as I said again, corporate will pay you after deducting TDS. TDS is deducted, TCS is not applicable. But there are repeat questions. I will ignore those questions. Not paid TDS. They have violated the law of TDS. So they need to deduct TDS. Gaurav Travels said, as per Circular 10 of CBDT, any one service booked standalone is not subject to TCS. Then will 7 lakh threshold be applicable on this as it is for tour package? If it is a standalone booking, it will come under LRS for other purposes, where the regulation says nil up to 7 lakhs, 20% above 7 lakhs. So if it is standalone service, up till 7 lakhs, there is no TCS. Above 7 lakhs, 20% TCS. If you have made a land package and a tourist attraction package and remitted the money, subsequently you are making a hotel booking through a B2B portal, will this come under TCS? The first is a combined service, right? The land arrangement and the tourist attraction, that will attract TCS. Okay. The second is a standalone service. If it is less than 7 lakhs, no TCS. Standalone service means only hotel, only sightseeing, only land package, only attractions, only visas, only. No two services are combined. That is standalone. Nothing. Question from Kinjal Panchal. When we charge TCS in package 5 lakhs or where did it go? Where did the question go? Okay, the question got deleted. What is the code for paying TCS? Is it 206CN? The code for TCS, it has slightly changed. I also don't remember right now. We'll put it up in the slides when we send it out. It is 206, but it is CN or is it another one? I'm not too sure. GST on TCS is not applicable. What I mean to say is on 100 rupees, if you're charging TCS of 5%, on 5% you don't have to charge GST of 5% or 18%. No, it's flat. 5% flat. No other additional GST has to be charged. But on the 100 rupees, which is your service amount, in that if you're charging GST, let's say 5 rupees, 105 becomes your value. On 105, you will charge 5% or 20%. On that 5% and 20%, you don't have to additionally charge GST. Okay, last question from Arun. For a tour package, even flight ticket cost 5% TCS to be collected for a combined tour plan, or only for component to be paid to vendor, plus markup of ours with GST only for the season. It is always beneficial that you do the flight ticketing separately and do the package separately. On the flight ticket, there will be no TCS. On the package, since it's a combined package, there will be a TCS if it is less than 7 lakh rupees at 5%. If it is more than 7 lakh rupees, 20%. Any domestic bookings will not be counted. Just do not bother about domestic bookings. Okay. If a person is flying from Bangalore to Delhi, and from Delhi onwards is taking an international flight, if you book 2 separate tickets, the leg from Bangalore to Delhi will not come under TCS irrespective. I think that brings us to the end of all the questions. I hope I've been able to answer all the questions. Thank you for putting up the, what is the deadline to file TCS? Every quarter, at the end of the quarter, the 15th, after the end of the quarter, is the deadline for filing the TCS return. For paying the TCS is the subsequent month 7th. Before the 7th of the subsequent month, you should pay the TCS to the government. All right, Mayur, thank you as well for thanking us. I believe this has been a decent session. We have had hundreds of people joining us today. Thank you for your questions. I hope I have been able to clarify TCS and TCC in a very simple manner. Ensure you take an adequate declaration from your customer. Ensure you tell your customer that your PAN number that has been taken will be reflected in your 26 AS. Do not get caught or get in the wrong side of your customer after he comes to know that your PAN has been reported in your income tax return, which is in 26 AS. Let's try and make a very good industry out here. Let us try and be compliant. It has been quite a long time that this PAN has been put in mandate, since 2018. Please do not take bookings by giving, unfortunately, wrong information to the customers. Tell them clearly TCS is applicable or not applicable. Take a declaration from the customer. Any format is fine. Also inform the customer that your PAN will be punched for LRS reporting, and that will also be visible in your 26 AS. Do not be stumped by customers questioning you later that why is my PAN reflecting the 26 AS. The government is absolutely transparent now. You must also have heard in the last year that the Income Tax Department has sent out a notification to the Airport Authority of India that they need to give 2 lists of passengers who are flying out. One list is 24 hours before there's a technical term, wheels off or something like that. Before the flight departs, 24 hours before the flight departs, Income Tax Department needs to know the list of passengers in a particular international flight. And within 4 hours of an international flight departing, the Airport Authority of India has to submit the list of passengers on every flight which has gone within the last 4 hours to the Income Tax Department. So information is absolutely available with everybody. Do not think kisko kya pata chalega. Sabko sab cheez pata chal rahi hai. Please ensure TCS compliance, TCC compliance, declaration compliance, and adequate communication to your traveler कि जब आपका पैन यूज हम ले रहे हैं, आपका पैन हम पंच करेंगे LRS में और 26 AS में आपको दिखाई देगा कि आपका पैन has been used. People who are using FlyRemit, you need to also explain to your customer कि 26 AS में remitting agency का नाम आता है, तो वहां पे FlyRemit का नाम आएगा. Please educate your customers कि आपके 26 AS में अगर FlyRemit का नाम आ रहा है, it is my transaction only. That is the travel agent's transaction only. Please do not get alarmed by it. I hope this has been a reasonably knowledgeable session for you. Thank you very much. FlyRemit is here to make your travel remittances absolutely easy. We are the knowledge leaders in this. We are the technology leaders in this. And I believe the entire travel fraternity has got benefited by the services being provided by FlyRemit. Thank you. Our team is always here. Shahrukh, Raman, Anil are the seniors in the team. Your account managers are also as knowledgeable as anybody else. Please get in touch with your account managers for any queries. The portal is self-explanatory. Once you get the hang of it, you do not need to call any of us. You do not need to call your account manager. Just come on the portal. It's completely digital. And I hope you're enjoying your journey with FlyRemit. Take care. Have a great day. Have a great season. Diwali is just coming up. We are always here to service you with the best of our capabilities and to give you ease of transaction. Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you for your trust in FlyRemit. Thank you, everyone, for taking your time out this morning and joining us. Take care. You will get an email of this entire webinar. What are the final hacks? I already gave all the hacks. Okay. Bill separately. That's one hack. Thank you very much. You will get an email of this session recording as well, or you can come to our YouTube channel in a day or two and see the sessions as well. Thank you. Take care. Have a great day. Bye-bye.